Hello students, in today's class we will study about environmental management system and environmental monitoring plan. So this is actually part 3 of our EMP series, and so far we have completed what is EMP, what are the objectives of EMP, and we have also seen EMP for specifically for air, air environment, noise environment. Then we have also seen it for socio-economic environment and for the energy conservation also. We have dealt with these EMPs in great detail in our part 1 and part 2. So welcome to part 3 now, where we will be dealing with these two aspects, environmental management system and monitoring plan, right? Okay, so before moving further, let me just give you a quick glimpse of what exactly the EMP or Environmental Management Plan is, right? So, Environmental Management Plan is actually a structured framework. It is what a structured framework which is developed to minimize the environmental impacts of the project or any developmental activities. So it outlines what? It outlines how the environmental protection measures will be implemented during the life cycle of the project. So life cycle of the project, it will include what? It will include life cycle for the project. Will include what? It will include first the planning phase. The second one is your construction phase. The third one is your operation phase, and the fourth one is when you decommission your project or when you actually close the project. So these are the stages in the life cycle of any project, and we have to make sure that EMP is implemented at each step of the life cycle of the project. Now, we have talked about the EMP, right? Why do we actually need EMP? What is the purpose of EMP? So the very first purpose of the EMP is just purpose. The purpose is to ensure compliance to environmental laws, right? We have so many national level environmental laws. We have EPA, Environmental Protection Act, we have Air Act, Water Act, and so many other acts pertaining to the environment. So EMP is done to ensure the compliance to these particular projects. Then you have, okay, now the second purpose of EMP is to ensure health safety of humans and environmental protection, obviously, right? And the third one is your to support what? To support sustainable development. Sustainable development. So when we are talking about sustainable development, we are talking about what? We are talking about economic growth. We are also talking about environmental protection, and we are also talking about social equity. So whenever we are formalizing any project, then we have to take care that these three spheres are met. Okay, these three spheres, and this is where your sustainable development happens. So these three spheres must happen, and then only you can proceed with your project. Now, and the last one is the main reason why you actually make EMP is because it's a crucial step in your EIA process. EIA is what? EIA stands for Environmental Impact Assessment, where you assess the impacts of any project on your environment. So this is what is EIA. So in EIA, you must have heard about the process like screening, where we screen whether the project requires EIA or not. Then scoping, where you formulate your term of reference, right? And the third one is your baseline study, where you study the current state of that particular area before the implementation of the project. Then you predict all the environmental consequences, right? Especially the negative ones, right? And then you plan a mitigation steps. And then comes your EMP. So EMP makes sure that all these, the features of all these are accommodated in this particular document. How exactly you have to carry on the project, that is made sure by this particular framework. Okay. All right. Now let's move to the current topic, that is your environmental management system and monitoring plan, right? So this is a structured framework. EMP altogether is a structured framework that ensures environmental protection and compliance. It so ensures two things, that is environmental protection and compliance during the planning, construction and operational phases of the project. So it ensures what? It ensures first, environmental impacts are monitored and controlled, right? So you're monitoring and controlling the environmental impacts. Then legal regulations are followed, right? And then you have to keep on improvising periodically to maintain uh, environmental checks, right? To maintain environmental balance. Now we'll talk about the components of environmental management system. So the very first one is your environmental management cell. So this is a dedicated team. It's a dedicated team or department responsible for the implementation of your EMP. So it actually helps you implement your EMP. So this could be the possible question for your examination. Who actually implements the EMP? So it is your environmental management cell. So usually it consists of an environmental officer, some engineers and some safety personnel as well. So suppose if it is a hospital project, then uh, these management cell people